Two. What's going on, family? Got my boy Hotep Jesus in the motherfucking building. Let's go. So, tell me about yourself, man. Where you from? What are you doing? And why are you so damn successful, brother?
I'm from the third rock from the sun. I'm a reincarnated ascended master. I don't know how many lives I've been on this planet, but this definitely isn't my first rodeo. I'm a hyper-conscious individual who is looking to increase the consciousness of individuals on this planet and raise the vibration. The planet is divided up into basically two sets of vibrations, higher and lower. Media likes to put people in a lower vibration through laughter and comedy. I put people in a higher vibration. So
Okay.
that's what I try to do.
All right. So, I want you to tell me, what do you think are some of the most common causes of the lostness that we see in the brothers today, in the fellas?
And the fellas,
Yeah, the men primarily.
distractions.
Distractions.
Not a lot of focusing on themselves. Usually when I talk to a lot of brothers, they want to talk about all the problems in the world. And I'm like, yeah, we're all aware of the problems. We can analyze the problems.
Right.
For example, you look at the black community. The black community is dealing with the same exact problems they've had during the era of Garvey and Du Bois, from the same problems that they were dealing with X and King. The funny thing is, both eras, the black community as a whole was handling the problems the same exact way. Even today, we're still acting and reacting, I should say,
Right.
the same exact way we did during the Civil Rights Movement, marching and protesting.
Exactly.
But not a lot of focus on self. You know, what is it? Problems are always going to exist. Hurdles are always going to exist. The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
We're trying to change white people or white supremacy, but that's a constant. It's not a variable.
Exactly.
The variable is what you're going to do.
The response.
Right. How do you respond to that? If you even respond, what are you going to do to change your circumstance? And for men, I hear men, they complain about problems in the world and Illuminati and all this stuff. And I'm like, the reason why the Illuminati has so much power is because Adam Weishaupt took a group of people and put them together and they focused on themselves.
Right.
Where's your group of friends?
Right.
And what are you focused on?
And they have you fixated on all of these distractions.
Yes.
And if you look at the distractions, the body in which they come in, it just constantly gets updated and changed out. You're focusing on this particular caricature, and then when that person ages out, they replace it with a very similar character.
Like Aviv on French Prince of Bel-Air.
There you go. Right, exactly. And the next generation is still fixated on the same type of distraction,
Right.
rather than focusing that energy on self and what is self going to do as an individual.
Yeah.
And if you had all these individuals with that mindset, now you have a community with that mindset.
Correct.
And this is what's been holding the black community back forever, because they're stuck in blame.
Correct.
They're stuck in blame mode.
Right.
They're stuck in the pointing the finger.
Yeah.
And it's like my aunt used to always tell me, you can't control the actions and the behaviors of others.
Right.
All you can control is how you either respond or react.
Correct.
That's all you have absolute control over.
Correct.
So I agree with you 100% on that, brother. With that being said, let's jump in a little bit more. I understand that you're a father,
Yeah.
so I want to get your personal take on the importance of fatherhood and just how you feel about it. How would you like to talk about it, describe it, and get into that subject?
Kids are going to do what you do, not what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at kids, I try to be the best version of myself so they follow suit. If they see you BSing, they're going to BS. They see you studying or having a YouTube channel. Like my son, he wants a YouTube channel because I got one. Right?
Yeah, okay.
So they emulate you.
Exactly.
So you always want to be mindful of the behaviors that you take on, the habits you take on, the language you use, how you talk about other people, the honor and respect you give those around you. and the kids will follow suit.
Right.
I do lectures with the kids. You know, I always pull them together, and you know, I do these lectures. We do readings from, you know, like right now we're doing a reading on Iceman, white supremacy, inheritance. Forward was written by John Henry Clark. I forget the name of the author, but we're reading Iceman. So, you know, time. You know, what's the time you spend with the kids?
Right.
I always carve out a certain amount of time to spend with the kids to just refocus their mind, because I know that the liberal education they get in that school is another huge distraction.
Okay. Well, with that being said, what is your views and opinions on the onus of our image as black men? What that means for us as black men, as well as this next generation young boys coming up, and how they see themselves through us and how we carry ourselves as men.
In the business world, you have something called likeness. And you can sue people based upon how they manipulate your likeness.
Exactly.
The black community has a problem with how their likeness is represented. It's wholly owned and controlled by white liberals, white socialists, Marxists, communists, Hollywood. If you look at China, there are certain things that Hollywood is not allowed to do with the likeness of a Chinese person.
Or even in their country. Certain movies don't get there if they don't fit the bill.
Correct. So Hollywood is not allowed to portray a Chinese person as a thief.
Exactly.
You got some serious problems.
Yep. I agree.
If you even not even bringing it to China, just having that movie out there, they're going to lobby against you, and you're gonna have to pay for that. And they fund a lot of things as well too, so the money talks. But the lesson is how protected they are over their likeness. Black community doesn't protect their likeness. We allow ourselves to be portrayed as certain things in the media, and in movies and in TV, when we really should be controlling that. We allow others to control our likeness.
It's interesting that you use the example of China, because on one side of it, Chinese men are some of the least attractive men. That's not my opinion, obviously, but globally, if you speak to women, they're some of the least desired men by women, but yet they're some of the most respected. So it's just interesting how important that respect is to their culture, but it doesn't necessarily translate to being attractive. Whereas you compare that to the black community, trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. You compare that to the black community, we literally have the opposite dynamic. You know, we're the most attractive men on the planet, yet the least respected. You see what I mean? So it's just interesting that there's a lack of correlation between the two. You would think that the most respected men or the most desired men, and no, it's not the case. So I feel like maybe as black men, we need to start focusing on more of what has us respected globally, right, as well as inside of our own communities, because our own women don't even respect this, right, and focus less on what makes us, you know, attractive or desirable as individuals, right? So yeah, I think that's something we need to tackle. We need to tackle that.
Still that one.
Yeah, 'cause that's crazy that's not working out for us.
You're going to hear me talk about that one, and I'm going to expand on it and take that somewhere else. That's a good point. I never thought about that.
You have inspired me on a lot of different things.
Appreciate that, man.
There was actually a point that you made about the way that you deal with your children. I heard you say it, I think when you were in Miami, I heard you say this. And you said that the way that you speak to your children is very mature, right? You don't speak to them like children. You try to relate to them as you would another adult. Like you're giving them that level of respect.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting, because I think what happens with that is you give them that level of respect, and it kind of makes them aspire to make better decisions and to be a little bit more conscious of how they behave. You know what I mean?
How we interact.
Right, because it's kind of like you're already giving them that credit, and they're like, okay, let me not mess this up.
Right.
You know, because I'm already being dealt with like an adult, so let me not mess this up and do something, you know, childish, and then fall from grace, so to speak. So I just thought that was interesting, man.
I looked at how, you know, black community talks to children and treats children.
Point. Right.
And I just look at, like, even my family. I remember we had a family reunion once, and my niece, you know, we were playing with her, we running around playing tag, and her grandmother's like, stop, sit down. And it's just like, it's a child.
They're being children.
They're supposed to run around
Get that exercise.
and get dirty and messy.
Exactly.
And that's what they're supposed to do, you know? And I remember another one of my cousins, yeah, she was, got her hands into something and her mother smacked her and now she crying. And it's just like, and then I looked at it and I'm like,
That's not
it's
discipline.
black women.
Yeah, because that's not discipline. That's abuse.
Yeah, it's black women
Mm-hmm.
that I feel haven't raised
Oh yeah.
the next generation properly because I believe women can't raise children. I believe it's the man.
They nurture children. They don't raise them.
Correct. They nurture children, but they can't raise them. A man's got to provide that discipline and really
I
raise
agree.
them.
He's got to bring the values and the virtue, and it's on the woman to assist him on passing that to the next generation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But they socialize the children first,
Yeah.
and kind of teach the manners, the pleases and thank yous.
Yeah.
And I think the father comes in and teaches the self-discipline,
Yeah.
the self-confidence, these type of virtues. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the fact that you brought it to the women, I mean, that's something that I've observed for many, many years, and it's always like hit me in my chest.
Yeah.
I'm in the mall or something, and you see the single moms everywhere, and you got the kid that's like 5 years old, and he's like running around in the mall picking up toys and picking up candy, and she's like, stop that with your bad ass, get over here, little nigga. And I'm like, he's being a 5-year-old bully.
So I had a situation like that, and I rectified it really fast. We went in the store, and my son was running down the aisle, acting all stupid. So I grabbed his brother and sister, and I pulled him aside, and I started whispering in the air. We started laughing at him, right? So when he turned around and he looked, and so we were mocking him, he was like, wait.
He straightened up
He
quick.
straightened up quick.
Yeah.
Shame is a very big,
Powerful tool.
yeah. So we've never had a problem in the
Never
store
had that
again.
problem, 'cause
I didn't have to yell
because
at
he's
him.
like, why am I conducting myself like this?
Right.
But yeah, man, it really hurts me though to see the single moms going that route.
They don't know no better. That's how they were dealt with.
Right, they don't know
We
any
got
better.
that. We got that from the plantation.
But it leaves such a stigma on the kid, because if you're saying things like, you just like your father, or you do,
Yeah.
so already you're conditioning him to believe that his father is this terrible person and has all these negative traits, and you're also dooming him because he's not going to have any expectation to be anything good when you've already told him that he ain't shit and he ain't gonna be shit. So who's that person that's gonna counteract that message and say, little man, you got potential, or you could do anything you put your mind to, and all these type of things. So I think that there is a huge issue, and I mean, we can focus on the black community, but I think there's a huge issue with young black children not getting a positive message.
Yeah.
And when they look around society, they're not going to get it from the so-called white supremacy. They're not going to get it from the media. They're not going to get it from their peers.
Right.
So if they're not getting a message that says you have potential, you have capabilities, why would they think that's even possible? Right? And then on one hand, if you try to have this conversation on a broad scope, most of what you're going to get back from the black community is, well, we got this type of representation, and they don't have black superheroes, and da-da-da. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
These people don't owe us representation.
Right.
That's like me going to an Italian restaurant complaining that they don't serve beef patties. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm Jamaican. If I want Jamaican culture, I need to go to a Jamaican establishment.
Right.
I can't expect another culture to supply me with my culture.
Yeah.
You
Spanish
understand?
people don't ask for
That-
representation. They
right,
just turn to Telemundo.
Right, they have their Telemundo. Thank you, brother. So I just think it's a ridiculous argument. It's an asinine argument to be, and then it's even worse when they're playing with our mental and they have us in such a childish, ignorant state.
Yeah.
When they can release a Black Panther movie and then everybody goes out and supports it.
Yeah.
For all these misleading premises.
Everybody was African then.
I'm going to wear my African garb and go support this movie that's made by Disney, which is owned by Jews. But anyway, I'm going to go support this movie because it has an all-black cast. And you say black, are you talking about Americans? Because there's like 2 black Americans in that whole film. Everyone else is from another country.
Right.
And they're like, well, I'm going to go support it because it's the first black superhero. You mean like how Blade was the first black superhero and started the Marvel Universe in the 90s? Well, then I'm going to go support it because it's the first all-black cast. You mean like Coming to America? I mean, what part of this movie is revolutionary?
Right.
What part of this hasn't been done before?
Yeah.
So that just lets you know how easily manipulated we are
Right.
as a people. And it's sad because when you try to enlighten your brothers and sisters, before they take your word for it because you share the same hue, they attack you. They attack you before they trust your hue. It's like, bro. I'm Huey over here, baby. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I'm Team Us. And you already jumping down my throat, calling me all type of names. You don't even know what Uncle Tom is. It's like, pay attention to what I'm trying to tell you. Break
Yeah.
these mental shackles.
Yeah.
Pay attention. You are being manipulated.
Yeah.
And you're passing that on to our children. You're passing that unawareness of self on to the next generation.
Right.
Right? We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
HotepJesus.com.
All right. One more question I have for you. What are some of the things that you are looking to do in the near future, and what are some of the things that you would like to accomplish in the far future?
In the near future, I'd like to exit one of these companies, get my first, 10 million, and then
That's you're a Digineer. How you say it?
yeah,
Digineer?
something like that.
I'm working on that. Okay.
And then after that is billionaire.
Wow. You just getting started, brother.
Yeah, I am just getting started.
Hey, I believe in you.
I appreciate it.
I'd love to see it, man. All right. Thanks a lot, Hotep, for that. Peace.